Sarah, bring out the rings. It's championship week for the Trojans, heading out to Santa Clara to take on a Stanford Cardinal for all the marbles.
That's right, Aaron. We'll talk about that game this weekend, and we also have volleyball star Brittany Abercrombie in studio. Sports Scene starts now.
And for the final time this semester, welcome into the luxurious Ambry Media Center. I'm Aaron Glazer.
And I'm Sarah McGrew. Having won the Pac-12 South, the Trojans will head to the Pac-12 championship game this Friday for the second time in 3 years. And like their last appearance 2 years ago, they will once again take on the Stanford Cardinal.
That's right, Sarah, but this is not the same Stanford Cardinal team that the Trojans last saw in early September. At the time, those Cardinal, although they did lose to USC 42-24, they were led by Keller Chris. Now it's KJ Costello behind center, and that man has made all the difference for the Cardinal, throwing for over 1,100 yards this year. We talked to USC coach Clay Helton about what the Trojans defense can do to stop Costello on Friday.
Red zone. When they get down the red zone, they're putting up, they throw fades at will against everybody. And KJ came up and he had 4 touchdown passes. It's really protecting the ball well too. And you look at him and you have both run and pass options now, makes you a more dangerous offense.
So kind of switching over to the Trojans, for you, Sarah, what's the key to USC stopping Stanford this week?
Well, Aaron, you know that Bryce Love is always dangerous, but the Trojans did a good job of holding him to just 1 touchdown in that early September game. The defense will need to make sure they keep track of Love once again, while also making sure they adjust for Costello at quarterback. Offensively for the Trojans, it will be about maintaining the rhythm they found in recent weeks. A few nights ago at practice, Sam Darnold talked about his takeaway from the Stanford game earlier this year.
I thought we really found a rhythm in that game. We were able to run the ball, we were able to throw the ball, so hopefully we're able to do the same this game, this time around, so just really looking forward to the opportunity.
That game will take place at 5 p.m. Friday night from Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. Now over to the desk where Sarah has a brand new game here on Sports Scene.
And now it's time for us to make a choice. I'm joined by Sam Dodge and Drew Jones for a little game that we're calling The Choice here at Sports Scene. So let's start with you, Drew. You'll have 30 seconds to answer. The first question, looking forward to this weekend, what is your prediction for the Pac-12 championship game?
Well, I'm predicting a good game. It's going to be a really good game. Stanford's defense, USC defense going against each other. It's going to be quite the match. But I will say that USC is going to take this game. And I say that because in the season, Sam Darnold has only lost 1 game when throwing over 200 yards. So if he can bring that offensive power, then I think that they will take the edge in this game.
And I think you really got to look at this Stanford defense. I take the other side because they are much, much better in the Bay Area. The game's played in Santa Clara. Last 3 weeks they've played, Washington, beat them. Notre Dame, we all know how good Notre Dame is here at USC, beat them. And they did it behind a much improved defense, one that won't allow another 600 yards against USC this time. They're just much better at home. Plus, they have much better balance with KJ Costello. I mean, Bryce Love, everyone gives him the accolades, but Keller Chris earlier in the year, he wasn't getting it done. He was pretty anemic. KJ Costello's really boosted this team forward.
That's time's up. So we got a split team between Stanford for Sam and USC for Drew. So let's move on to looking forward to next year. There's kind of some thinking that Sam Darnold might go to the NFL. Maybe he'll stay. What do you guys think will happen with Sam Darnold next year?
Well, Darnold if he's smart, he's going to stay another year. I think you really saw some of the limitations that he has in the UCLA game earlier this year, and especially that was a great comparison point against Josh Rosen. However, there are a lot of teams looking for quarterbacks this year, 7 to 8 teams. Not only the Browns, not only the Giants, but there are teams like the Patriots that might need a replacement guy for Tom Brady in the next couple of years. You got guys like the Redskins who might get rid of Kirk Cousins after this year. So there are a lot of teams looking for quarterbacks right now, and I think Darnold's got to strike where the iron's hot and make that money.
Time's up, Sam. Drew?
Let's just think back. Let's reflect. Let's not have short-term memory. Who remembers when Johnny Manziel went straight to the NFL after his redshirt sophomore year? I think that if Sam Darnold is smart, and I agree, if he's smart, he'll stay. He should stay, and he will stay. Have another year to prepare. He threw for 12 interceptions this season alone. He needs to stay and not go to the NFL.
Oh, it's Johnny Manziel and Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold might not
Manziel's a
party
trouble
as much, but I definitely think he's not mature enough
He parties
to go to the NFL.
responsibly.
Oh, yes. Sure.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. That was some great input for the game this week and for next season. Now it's time to toss to Aaron Glazer for an interview with volleyball star Brittany Abercrombie.
That's right, Sarah. As the USC women's volleyball team prepares to start postseason play, undoubtedly a huge part will be their offensive approach. And here joining me now to talk more about that is opposite hitter Brittany Abercrombie. Brittany, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So you recently were named to the All Pac-12 Conference team for the second time. What does an honor like that mean to you as a senior?
It means a lot. We've been working really hard this season, and I wouldn't receive an honor like this if our team wasn't doing well throughout the season. We got second in Pac-12s, and I've been connecting really well with my setter this year, and we've all been playing really great. And we have another girl, Kalia Lanier, who also received the honor, and so playing beside her, it really helps us both.
Well, it's always glad to know that you and your setter have established a strong relationship. Kind of going forward, when you play in big games like you will this weekend, is there more pressure on you as an opposite hitter to kind of get knocked down more kills for your team?
I think I've been putting that pressure on myself since the beginning of the season, and since I came to USC. I always want to be a leading role on the team, and I want to have the highest hitting percentage. I want to get the most kills while also helping my teammates around me. So I think it's the same amount of pressure that will be applied, but we have to stay focused the whole time, because now we're in the tournament. So if you slip up, you're out.
As far as kind of helping out those teammates in such a high pressure situation, you've played in the NCAAs before. You've been here, for 4 years now. What advice would you give to a younger teammate who's playing in this for the first or second time?
For all the freshmen and sophomores, I would say just stick to what you know. We've been practicing since the spring for this NCAA season. So we've put in so many hours, hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and just trust your gut, trust what you know, and stay focused.
Absolutely. Very important, of course, to kind of stick to those ideals, especially in such a big situation. But I want to kind of take a moment now to kind of look back over your 4 years here at USC Volleyball. You've obviously seen a lot of different players cycle through, a lot of different approaches. What do you think has maybe changed the most in your 4 years here at USC?
I think every year there's just been a different type of vibe on the team, a lot of different personnel, and some years it's been better than others, but I think this year we have a very strong chemistry with each other. We went to a Europe trip in the spring, or in the summer, right after spring semester, and that really bonded us as a team, and we all love each other and would do anything for each other. So there's a lot of trust on the court.
And what do you think you've learned most about yourself kind of in your time playing here, and how that will help you, in whatever your future endeavors may be?
I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned to push myself harder than I think I can. You can always do more than you expect you can.
And what do you want to do post-grad?
Post-grad, I hopefully will go overseas and play professional volleyball for at least a season, if not more, depending on if my body will hold up and if I enjoy it as much as I do now. So after that, hopefully the nonprofit sector. I'm an international relations major, so that's my future.
And then kind of looking, a bit more to the present this weekend. Obviously, the playoff week, atmosphere is a little bit different. Is there anything that you're noticing different in practice as you prepare for Central Arkansas, or is it kind of standard procedure? I
think, our practice has been pretty normal, the way that it's structured, but our effort and our play and our mindset, our focus has all just kicked it up a notch. Our coach mentioned it yesterday. We've had 2 or 3 practices in a row where we are just going all out all the time, and he's pretty excited about it, and so are we. We just want to keep this type of mindset rolling forward into our next couple games.
All right, well, Brittany, thank you so much for being here. We, of course, wish you and the rest of your Trojans the best of luck this weekend. And once again, you can catch Brittany and the Trojans at the Galen Center this Friday. But now let's turn over to Sarah for some thoughts on water polo.
Number 4 men's water polo is hosting the NCAA tournament. Here to talk with me about how the team looks going into the weekend is Chloe Chrysikopoulos and Natalie Reddington. All right, guys, are you guys ready for a little spinner game?
Yeah, let's do it.
Chloe, you want to start? All right, number 7. So there are 7 seniors on this team this year. Going into the tournament, how do you think they're feeling, having been so close for the last 3 years to winning it all? And now also, what do they bring?
Well, as you said, they've come really close. The last 3 years, they've made it to the finals, and they have a lot of experience together, a lot of chemistry. They're really, really excited about this weekend. Last year in the finals, they lost to Cal, which was pretty tough. And then the previous 2 years, they lost to UCLA, which was also tough. So this tournament provides a platform for them to be able to get that revenge that they really, really want.
Right. Natalie, you have anything?
I think having 7 seniors is a lot, and when you have that inner group who's really experienced and solid, it kind of leads the rest of the team, and they're guides, and they provide a lot of like previous experience to help out the rest of the team who may not be as experienced.
Great. All right, Natalie, you want to give it a spin now?
All right.
All right, number 4. So the team has been up and down in the top 4 for in the rankings for this whole season. They are now number 1 going into the tournament this weekend. Does that sliding up and down, does that mean they're inconsistent, and how will that affect them in the tournament?
I think, well, USC had a winning streak from 2008 to 2013, so 6 championships in a row, and then they've been really close getting to the final these past few years. And I think that since the game is on the home turf, it'll put USC in the right mindset to kind of win. And I think that not getting a bye, I don't think that will hurt them too much because they just have to beat Harvard, which is number 12. That's their rank compared to USC's number 1 seed. And I just think that one bump in the road might be against Cal because Cal beat them in the final last year. But if USC can get past that mental barrier, I think they're straight sailing to a win in the final.
Chloe?
Yeah, I agree. I think that even though they're at number 4 and they don't get that bye, it doesn't really matter because we saw that last year they were ranked number 1 and they did have the bye and they still lost in the final, and they lost to Cal, who had to play UCLA the night before in the semifinals without the bye, and they went into overtime and Cal still won. So I don't really see a bye being an issue.
All right. We have time for one more question, so one of you guys give it a spin again. Go for it. Father-son. So there's a father-son duo on the team this year, the Vavich. So can you guys tell me a little bit about how their dynamic, their relationship has affected the team this past season?
Yeah, so the coach, Vavich, he's really, really smart. He's led the team to 13 straight NCAA finals. He knows how to coach the players. He communicates well with them, and that leads to communication well with his son. He's coached his son his whole life, so they both play smart, and I think that it just carries over to the team and just creates a really positive atmosphere. His son has led the team in goals this season, and he's a freshman, so it'll be exciting to see what else he can do his next 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, Marko Vavic is already really experienced, and even just as a freshman, he's making a huge impact on the team. And I think any family duo on a team between like player and coach and father and son just really opens the field of communication between the entire team and between the coach, which increases the effectiveness of playing in games and their strategy and their practice, and it just brings the team close together. So I think that's really helpful to have.
Great. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your input on water polo. Be sure to catch the Trojans as they take on Harvard in the opening round of the tournament tomorrow at 7 p.m. Now let's toss it over to the monitor where we'll look at some of our favorite plays.
That's right, Sarah. It's been another wild semester of USC athletics. So as we like to do here in the season finale of Sports Scene, we give you some plays that we really liked this semester. Starting off for me, the fake punt Michael Pittman against UCLA. USC tricked the whole formation and Pittman easy road to the end zone.
And then Rojo flipping into the end zone. That was such an acrobatic play. It was so fun. The crowd got so excited after that happened. What a great and memorable play for the season.
You absolutely love to see when the Trojans are creating plays like this, get that full Coliseum atmosphere. There's nothing better for a Trojan football fan.
It sure has been an exciting semester for all Trojan sports.
Absolutely, Sarah. Of course, teams are always competitive, and there's nothing more that you want for the USC.
I guess that does it all for our season finale. Thank you so much for watching Sports Scene. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Annenberg Media Sports.
And of course, it's the last show of the semester. We couldn't do it with the whole team that makes it happen every week. Our producers, Julia and Joey, you put in way more work than any of us do to get this thing done. Chris Cheshire, who always makes sure to keep us in check on the air. Tom, John, the whole Annenberg Media crew. Without them, this is pretty useless anyway. So we appreciate all the work that they do. We will see you in January. Thank you so much for a great semester.